You know, since this epidemic has gone, I believe it's now fourfold, drug driving is gone through the roof. Now, this is about Michigan, but it is soaring all over the country. These drug addicts are all over the road, putting everybody at risk of accidents, injury, and death. And of course, they have no care in the world. As long as they can be high, that's all that matters. That's why I don't call all of the drug addictions out here accidental, like the press like to say. No, it's deliberate, ladies and gentlemen. Drug driving crashes surging across Michigan. All right, here's a video. Let me see if we can get the video to play. All right, this is no joke out here at all. And people really got to get past this thing. I personally, all right, I personally believe it's selfish for people to do this. You know, they're only thinking about themselves and not all of the people on the road and just walking on the sidewalk that they could care less about. As drunken driving deaths decline, drug driving deaths are on the rise. The driver of a red pickup truck appeared to be drunk, according to witnesses who called 911, as he sped erratically through Kalamazoo County in June 2016. Before police could catch up to him, the driver plowed into a group of bicyclists on a rural road, killing 5 of them in a crash that would make international headlines. Investigators later learned the driver, Thomas Pickett Jr., wasn't drunk. Blood tests showed he was high on drugs, including methamphetamines, painkillers, and muscle relaxers. Prosecutors charged Pickett with 14 felonies, including second-degree murder and driving under the influence. His trial is scheduled for September. Michigan overdose deaths were up last year. Most involved opioids. Drug users now cause almost as many traffic deaths in Michigan as drunk drivers, a trend police blame on prescription drugs. The opioid epidemic, or plague, and the easy availability of marijuana, medical and otherwise. Last year, drug drivers caused 127 crashes that killed 141 people, according to Michigan State Police statistics. That's still less than 165 crashes caused by drunken drivers that killed 176 people. But the trends are heading in opposite directions. So now drunk driving is actually going down, drug driving is going up. Over the past decade, fatal drunken driving crashes across the state are down 36%, while those caused by people impaired by drugs have risen 263%. Wow. Woo, that is a hell of a jump. Wow. I arrested more drug drivers than drunk drivers, said Washtenaw County Sheriff's Department Brian Webb, who says he arrested about 10 impaired drivers each month. He is one of about 115 certified drug recognition experts in Michigan, officers with the highest level of training in identifying people impaired by drugs other than alcohol. Those are my neighbor's dogs. Unfortunately, they have 4. So, pardon the sound. Michigan is a zero tolerance state, meaning that you can be prosecuted for any amount of cocaine or Schedule 1 drug, such as marijuana, in your system, although the courts have said that does not automatically apply to those with a medical marijuana card. Providing impaired driving by someone who is taking valid prescription drugs is much more difficult. In Michigan, a driver who is taking legally prescribed drugs can be prosecuted for drug driving if police can show it impaired the person's driving ability. Social acceptability. Police said some high-profile cases like the May arrest of golf legend Tiger Woods in Florida for driving under the influence of prescription drugs have raised awareness. But the dangers of drug driving have yet to sink into public consciousness, said Candace Leitner, the founder of Mothers Against Drunk Driving, MADD. Leitner now runs We Save Lives, a nonprofit that raises awareness about the dangers of drunken, drugged, and distracted driving. I guess those are like people text messaging and they're distracted by it and they get into an accident. Drunk driving is no longer socially acceptable, but drug driving is socially acceptable because people don't think it's a problem, Leitner said. I fault the pharmacists and the doctors. They do not do a good job in educating their patients about these drugs. Well, I got to kind of wonder about that because when the few times I was on narcotics, I was warned about not driving. And they always put the little stickers on your bottle. So personally, I think some of these people, they're just impaired. They don't care. They want to do what they want to do. And they don't care who they put at risk out here. They really don't care. And it's not just the people on prescription drugs. So let's not, I know they're talking about that a lot in this article, but it's a lot of these heroin addicts that are actually in their cars behind the wheel, sticking needles in their arms. And they are causing accidents out here too. So it's not just a prescription drug driving that you have to worry about. Really, it's all of it, whether it's a legal drug or illegal. So really, there's been rises all across the country. I even saw an ad in Vermont. They're having a big problem with drunk driving as well. So it just goes over this couple that was killed by a drug driver. And this is why I keep warning my subscribers, please be careful on the road. If you see anybody driving erratically on the road, just try to get as far away from them as you can. If you can take an exit off of that highway and take an alternative route, do whatever you can to stay away from these nuts on the road. Please leave your comments and subscribe. And I'll leave the link to this article in the description box. And if you can donate to my channel, please do. Peace, family.